Hi Karen, how are you?
Great.
You have to watch her, she whispers things.
I know, and I get blamed for it, so.
It's true,
If you
because
hear-
I don't know you, but I know Diana, so.
Hi, I'm Missy Harrison. I'm the director here at the Lincoln County Library System, and I would like to welcome you to Wyoming Wildflowers in Watercolor with Judy Gaunt. Before class begins, I would like to take a moment to thank the Lincoln County Library System and our facilitators and Lifetime Arts for providing the monetary support and making this program possible. Judy Gaunt received her Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in painting and drawing, her Master of Arts in printmaking, lithography, and drawing, and her Master of Fine Arts in printmaking and painting from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. She has taught at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, as well as classes and workshops through the Rock Springs Fine Arts Center, Jackson Art Association, Western Wyoming Community College, and in her Bedford studio. After 10 years sailing in the Caribbean, she moved to Star Valley, where she began to sell her paintings in Jackson, Green River, and locally. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoy Wyoming Wildflowers in Watercolor with Judy Gaunt.
Waiting for the camera to come on.
Yeah.
You know, these YouTube videos are now online, so if you want to review them. Okay. I'm just gonna bed down. All day's not to have the watercolor up on. All right, you guys, today are we ready? It's my viral YouTube celebrity hood. Okay, we ready to go? Oh. Okay, we're ready to go now. No echo. You can only see half of my face. I wish it were the good half. Anyway, this is what we're gonna do today, you guys. We were gonna originally do another splatter like this with mountains or trees in the background, but it's fall and there's so many beautiful yellow colors out there. And then last week, I think someone in Cokeville reminded me about these beautiful wispy flowers, which I think are called loose strife or strife loose. I did look them up. So this is what we're gonna do today. And again, we're gonna have to start with masking, okay? I'd like all the facilitators in the other libraries to give me an idea if everybody has enough masks to get us through the next 4 weeks. And if not, I will get some more out to all the libraries, all right? And I'll make sure everybody here, I brought a bottle today that I can refill. So today we're gonna start with masking this out.
Camera is good.
I just like to go one class without getting paint all over me. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put our mask on like this. And so what we want to have happen here is we want our wispy loose strife, I think is what they're called, to come up into our sky area. So we want to start it like some are gonna be coming, I just go the wrong way. Okay, some are gonna come off of the bottom and some are gonna go up into the sky. And I put about 7 in here, okay, so an odd number. And you might want to bunch 3 of them together, you might have 2 of them together. And then if we could switch to here, I'll show you how we're gonna do the masking. So we're gonna start out with masking and using either your half-inch square handle or your number 10 handle. Could you switch to, sorry. Oh, no, I got water on my, okay, so here we are. Allison put all these neat little things here. Okay, okay, I think I have it now, Allison. I think I understand now what everything means. Okay,
Star Valley wants to know, is it a half sheet or a whole sheet?
it's gonna be a half sheet. Next week, we're going to do more than half sheet, and then the following week, we're gonna start in on our whole sheet project. So thank you for that. It's gonna be half sheet. And if you have messed up your piece of paper, sorry, I could tell right away that that wasn't straight across the masking tape. Then get a fresh piece of paper out. So we definitely want a half sheet and a clean piece of paper. Hi, Tamara, I didn't even see you there. You were hiding behind Victoria. Okay. All right, so I have my mask right here, and I'm gonna come up from the bottom, and what you're gonna do, and you wanna fill it in, so it's just kind of going up and then just sprouting out like that. See, so it's coming up and going into the sky, and then from the bottom, I'm just gonna go back and forth. You want it to be much narrower at the top and get a little bit thicker as you go down. It's not really looping, but you'll see when we paint it, how we do it. It's actually just a bunch of little flowers on a stalk. So that's what we're going for. So it's the stalk, and that's my first one like that, okay? And then kind of make it bumpy on the sides because those are going to be your flowers. Okay. So that's my first one. You guys are going to be experts in masking by the end of this class. Okay, I'm going to come up with one just off of the bottom a little bit, just a couple inches up, but this one I'm going to make thicker, so it's a bigger flower, but shorter, not going all the way up the page. Okay, so there's number 2. And then number 3, I'm actually going to cross that first one, all right? There's nothing wrong with crossing it and then doing the same thing. I think that masking is really key to the flowers because it allows you to paint your whole background and everything around the flowers and then pull the mask off and then get really bright, beautiful colors in there, contrasting against your background. So there's like 3 on this side. So I'm going to do one a little bit off center. Again, I'm going for 7. So however you want to design your page, it's up to you. Try not to make any 2 the same length or going exactly in the same direction. Anybody wants to know what the mask bottle looks like, this is it. It's a French product and it's Pabio. You can get a smaller bottle of it. Okay, so just going up. So we have 4 now. I might have one coming like completely in the corner. So coming off of the page. Again, try not to make your mask too thick because then it will take longer to dry.
So if it is too thick, just smoosh it, do we push it somewhere else? Or?
If you get it on too thick, the best thing to do is to get a little tissue and pick some of it up or to shmoo it off to the side. And the only reason that putting it on too thick is an issue is because of the time constraints of this class. Otherwise, we could all go have a cup of coffee and do things while it's all drying. Okay. Okay, so there we go. So this is about what you're going for right here. I want to try and avoid those white spots down there because that we're going to do in the painting. Just try and make it a little bit more. Just a little bit more bubbly because this is where our flowers are. You want to fill this all in. You're going to be painting.
Okay, so like it has a stem going up to it.
Oh, no. Like literally, this all needs to be solid.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, and then the bumps are the flowers on the side. Okay. Because this is, we're gonna get all those white areas in through the painting. So you want to do that.
Got it, okay. So,
The wider and more variety, and the bit there, the more flower you're gonna have. This is gonna be a very neat flower. Okay, so you want a little bit wider. Okay. Now, some people have been doing this with the mask. They're making, they're leaving a lot of paper underneath it like this. Okay, you don't, you want it filled in, okay? And then you want the bumps to come out on the side like this. And also there are some people that are doing it way too thin like this. And this is gonna be the bulk of your flower, okay? So if you make it really thin, you don't have any room for a flower in that. You need to have it wider. The flowers are going to reside on the stalk. They're gonna grow out of the stalk, all right? So you want it to be wide enough and you don't want to leave any open area in there. That is what we're going to accomplish through the painting today. Today, we're gonna learn how to leave white areas and how to put dark next to it so that you end up with all these little sparkles of white in there and then the darker purple and the lighter purple. Okay, so does everybody get that? That we have to have it like this and not with any holes in it. Let's drink that water. Okay, here we go. And once everybody gets this far, look at, I need to make these flowers bigger myself. It's my other one, but anyway. It's funny, sometimes I see what people are doing out there and then I'm like, why did that happen? And I come back, it's because that's what I demonstrated. So yeah, I have to go wider too. Okay. Right, and once Thane has gotten all of their, what should we call these? Wisps, fronds, twigs, fronds, F-R-O-N-D-S, Fawns. Is that even a word? Okay.
Fern, fawn.
Okay.
This one's,
Should we call it that?
Stocks,
What?
stocks,
Socks?
stocks, stalks, like STALKS, stocks.
Stop. This is creative aging, right? I creatively hear things
Oh my.
because I'm ages. I get it now. Stalks. Stalks. She was saying stalks. I'm sorry, I'm feeling goofy today. Okay. Pardon me? Some went to the bottom. I have one that's growing out of the middle. When you look at this one, I have several that are growing out of the middle. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that they're all going off of the bottom. All right, and once everybody gets done with this, and I think everybody here is done with it, so we're gonna set this aside and then I'm gonna show you how to paint these flowers, all right? Just set that aside to dry. Do I have a fresh piece of paper here? You don't. You have your practice paper on the back side of your practice paper. So you can just use the back side of your practice paper, right? You'll notice that it's a different texture. That's fine. It's just a little bit smoother. So if you just use your backside like that, that sounded funny. Use your backside. Okay. I need a palette. Where's I at home? Okay. Now I did. Oh my gosh! I lost my painting. Okay. For this, we have the color violet or purple in our palette, right? We are not going to use that today. The reason is that it's a very flat purple. One of the beauties of watercolors is how you mix the colors. Sometimes you mix on the palette, sometimes you mix on the paper, okay? Sometimes you put a layer down, let it dry, put another layer down, let it dry, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using our rose color and our Prussian blue. So what I want you to do is I want you to set up, either clean out one of your mixing areas like this, okay? And what I did was I put a little dot of rose there and then a little dot of Prussian blue. So clean up one of your areas and put a little dot of rose and a little dot of Prussian blue. So rose colored and Prussian blue. And you won't need a lot of that Prussian blue. Prussian blue is just it's probably the darkest color in there other than I keep wanting to call it grape because it's such an ugly purple, sorry. Other than your violet color there. Okay. So what we're going to do when we go to make these flowers is we're first going to paint it. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to come in with a really watery rose colored first. Okay, this is pretty dark. Okay, there I thinned it out a little bit. And this is where we are now going to leave those air holes, okay, those white spots. People were doing this with the mask. We didn't want to do it with the mask. We want to do it like this, okay? And I've already added a little bit of blue. And then while it's still wet, we're going to come in and just drop some violet in there, okay? I'm sorry, some of the Prussian blue in there, thereby making the violet color. And you can see, if you do it right, that it's a much more pretty violet. If you don't think it is, what I would suggest you do, and I think we should do this because we're waiting for our mask to dry anyway, is just come in with your violet and see what a difference it is. Okay, put it right next to this one. Go down. Okay, and then look at the difference in those two colors. Okay, can everybody see that? How when you have the blending of the colors on the paper, you get much more variety within that violet color as opposed to this really flat one over here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to sample of this. Is we're going to do our flowers like this. Okay. And I need it to dry in order to demonstrate the next step that we're going to take. So the way I do this, I think I can explain it. We're going to get this far, okay? And then what I do is I do this almost with all of my paintings, whether it's a tree or bushes, even grasses, is then I come in and next to each white area that I've left, I come in and I hit it up with my darkest violet color, okay? So I'm mixing a nice dark violet color. And then I come in and right next to the white area, I drop in a little bit of the dark, okay? And what that does is it adds a lot of sparkle and a lot of depth to the flower, okay? So everybody see what I mean by that? Now, no? Okay, so I'm dropping in a dark violet color right next to my white area. Dark color right next to the white area. We're going to be doing this when it's dry.
What brush is being used?
Pardon me?
What brush is being used?
Number 4 or number 10. I'm using a bigger brush. If you're not comfortable with using a bigger brush, then go to your number 4. I'm just used to using big brushes. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. Kim, do you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's how you get this nice variety that actually looks like little flowers. Okay. Now, what we're going to be doing, I did do that again, wet into wet, which meant that my dark area spread a little bit more. Sorry. Sometimes she types things out on the thing and then I read it and I'm like, is someone talking to me? Okay, so we're going to be doing this when it's dry and we're going to be doing the reedy shmoo. I've decided we should name the shmoo after my friend Judy. So it's going to now be referred to as the reedy shmoo. We're going to be shmooing it when we're done. I just did it wet into wet to demonstrate it. So I think we're still waiting for our mask to dry a little bit. Yeah, so everybody out there still waiting for their mask to dry. Okay. Well, while you guys are waiting for your mask to dry, I'm picking mine up. I would not recommend doing this, but I'm doing it so I can demonstrate the background area while yours is drying, all right? That will give us a little bit more time. So one of the reasons that I chose this was because someone mentioned that the fall colors are so pretty right now. And I really wanted to try to combine a fall tree painting with flowers, but no matter what I did, it really became all about the fall colors. And there was just no way. The fall colors are more orange, and then you contrast blue flowers on top of it. It becomes a little bit too obvious, I thought. And then where's that other one that I had? Yeah, I had another one with, oh yeah, this one. And then even if I put just a little bit of fall trees in there, it becomes about the fall trees and not about the flowers. So what I did instead was I opted to go with that beautiful golden color. Okay, which is a yellow color, and that is a complementary color to the violet, which really pushes the violet out. Okay, So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do the background, and also I did the background instead of having that bright blue sky. I opted for a grayed down sky with a little bit of yellow ochre in it to warm it up, so that I do have that warm glow in all the way through, which is a nice contrast for my violet. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint the sky first, and then we're gonna come in and do the foreground area. And I'm gonna demonstrate that because I assume that everybody's mask is still drying, so you guys get to watch me paint. Hoping that my mask isn't wet. Okay, so using, to line that up, using the yellow ochre, I keep wanting to call it raw sienna. And I misspoke, I'm not using, okay, I got a little bit of yellow ochre there. But the sky that I'm gonna do is going to be my indigo. And again, your indigo should be the black with some Prussian blue. So if you go into the color that you made as indigo and it's reading as black, add just a wee bit of Prussian blue to it to blue it up a little bit. Okay, and again, everybody's mask should be still drying, so everybody should just be watching what I'm doing and not working on their own painting, or you're gonna end up with a gummed up paintbrush. All right, so I'm just gonna come down either with your number 10 or your half-inch square. I'm gonna come down just about a third of the way down the page, maybe not even that far, just enough to get some of those tips up in the sky. Okay, and I'm working that water in pretty well.
Judy, say those colors again. It was,
The colors are gonna be yellow ochre, a little bit of yellow ochre in the sky. We're starting out with indigo. So I'm coming in and I'm dropping my indigo right in there. And that makes it quite a dark sky, right? I just have one streak going across there. I'm gonna bring it all down.
so it was the indigo and Prussian blue that you mixed.
The indigo is black and Prussian blue, thank you.
Okay.
I misunderstood the question. And then I'm gonna drop a little bit of that yellow ochre in there. And then I'm gonna pick up my piece. I don't know if you can see that. Wait. Okay. If you pick it up, you can see how it's running down, right? It's running. Could you put it on me so I can, thanks. Just gonna switch to camera view so I can show you how to do this. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm bouncing this around. I'm letting the water and the paint run into each other. Okay, this is how you get smooth skies. Okay, and if you see a little bit too much dark coming in, you just turn it that way or this way. Whatever way you turn it, it's gonna run. It is not, unless you have a lot of water on there, it's not gonna run down into your painting area. So your sky should look generally like this. I'd like it to look a little less like the yellow ochre, so I'm probably gonna bring my,
You wet your page down, correct?
I wet the paper down first. Yes, I did. And the reason, you can go back to my paper now. And the reason that that you wet your paper down, especially when you're using a very dark staining color, is because if you just come in with a dark staining color like your indigo, and you do like this, okay, you're gonna get a hard line right there, okay? And you're not gonna be able to get rid of that hard line, no matter what you do. Whereas if you put the water down first, then you get that nice flow, and you see the difference there?
Mhm.
Okay, so you can get away, obviously you can get away with just painting with paint and water without pre-wetting the paper. But especially if you're using like your yellows and some of your lighter colors, but when you get into those dark staining colors, you should always pre-wet the paper so that you don't get those hard lines, especially in your sky where you don't want the hard lines. Okay, so now up here, see that line there, that I'm never going to be able to get rid of that line there. Okay, it's just the nature of a staining color. So here's my sky up here, that's not a very good sky. I hope everybody does better out there, all right? I was like bouncing around and trying to find the camera and all that. But anyway, what you want is you want that, the grayness of the indigo, to offset your violet. And then I threw in a little bit of the yellow ochre just to warm it up, to soften it up a little bit. And then we're gonna do our foreground area in a little bit of a different way. We have been painting back and forth like this and then coming in with our grasses like that. This time, because we're not gonna be doing grasses all the way across it, but just in the front, I want you to just cover this whole area with yellow ochre, making marks like this, which will give you a little bit more of a field look. Does everybody see that? I did do it on dry, yes. Yes, no, you want it on dry. This part you want on dry because I just stuck my brush into something other than yellow ochre. So anyway, you're going for a nice yellow background, okay? You can even throw in with your yellow ochre, if you throw in a little bit of your gamboge, you can even brighten it up a little bit more. And then when you get up to that line up there for your sky, I just want you to shmoo into it a little bit like that. I am trying to get rid of a little bit of that line, so like this, okay? Now, does everybody's mask feel like it's dry enough to start this process?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so you're good to go. Once again, remember that you're gonna do a quarter, you're gonna wet your sky down a third of the way down, and then you're gonna come in with your indigo. Are you throwing stuff at me? What happened? Come down with the indigo. And you can, remember, move that paper back and forth, pick it up and watch it flow, because it will flow. That's the beauty of watercolor. Remember, watercolor is a verb, it moves, it's all about the movement. Drop a little bit of your yellow ochre. Indigo is about 80% Prussian blue and 20% black. So you have to mix the two, Karen, okay? If we just use straight black, it would not be pretty at all. That blue softens it a bit. So once you get your sky like this, then once again, you're gonna come in with your yellow ochre and just paint randomly. I mean, it is that time of year where you look out certain times of the day and it's just beautiful golden fields. I actually debated whether we should do sunflowers, which are actually not a wildflower at all, are they? But they're so pretty. The storms are, let me see, just get some water on it to lighten it up a bit. You, because Diana, look at this. See what we're gonna be adding down here? If you add that down there and you're too dark up there, that's not gonna show up. You too, Victoria, just throw a little water in it. You don't want it to be that dark, you guys. If it gets too dark, then your flowers will not show up as well. That's the best way.
Go all the way down to the bottom of the paper.
Yes. And if you have done it too dark, heck, you could just take your paper towel and go right across and lift some of it if it's still wet. Let me see it now,
Oh, yeah,
Diane.
mine's wet.
Okay. Karen, you look, you're getting a little too dark too, though.
Yeah, it sounds wrong. I have too much of the dark. What blue did we do?
Freshness.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So now I'm just gonna do that.
Oh,
Yeah. And she's gonna do that. That's good.
just keep trying.
Good water, just.
There's a fresh one better for you.
I bet your house looks better than my house, because I'm painting on your housekeeping.
No, I'm not. I don't housekeep.
Housekeeping is dangerous.
Okay, good. You want to get enough water on your brushes, more water, lot more water, a lot more water, a lot more water. Water. Some people are painting just a little bit too thickly. You've got to have a lot of water in there to get that transparency. So everybody keeps looking. Oh, I have it upside down. I added a little, I forgot to say that. I added a little bit of gamboge down at the bottom just to warm it up a bit. The gamboge brings the field closer to me, and the yellow ochre in the background pushes it back. When you're doing fields like this, you usually want to do something to push that back, either make it lighter, or in this case, I made the foreground a little bit more yellow. If I'm doing a field of green, I always put a little bit of blue in the distance field and more yellow in the foreground to push it back and bring it forward. I feel like I'm watching a race out there. It's like. The sound effects. I'm doing sound effects now. Okay. Okay, we're almost done with this. And when we get done with this, then we're going to add a little tree line in the background, which is why we didn't want that too dark to begin with. And if you're waiting, oh, thank you. If you're, I would have missed that. If you're already done with this, take the opportunity to go up and hit it up with the dryer to get it to dry. All right. Tracy, that's better. Lighter, yeah, it's good. Oh, there's no headaches allowed. It's supposed to be fun. We're not supposed to have tension. Don't take your mask off yet. Do not take your mask off yet, okay? Sounds so funny.
I know, where,
Okay. Look at two-fisted drinker. I always so nobly bring water and I drink the coffee, the iced coffee. It's just that time of year. I'm so excited about this flower. I had so much fun. It's all Ellen's fault. It's all your fault, Ellen. I have your phone number. I was gonna call you and say, look what you made me do. My house is such a mess because I had to paint flowers for you. I tried, I really tried to get those fall colors in there, but I just couldn't do it. Yeah. And I'd even thought about doing something like that, adding a sunflower or two. But then I was happy with purple.
Is the flower also called larkspur?
I think so. I think so. I can't remember. I either went into my Wildflower book or online or something to try and find a name for it other than
That's what I-
our stalk of purple flowers, our stalk.
Fireweed, there's one called fireweed.
Yeah, it could be fireweed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
We'll call it a flower weed, a weed flower. They're all wildflowers and weeds. We're on the last person that is drying, and so when she's done, I'm gonna demonstrate. Something. My game today. Okay. You're gonna be using your indigo a little bit more. If you got too dark in your sky, then just skip this part, okay? You'll be fine. Karen, can I see yours? Hold yours up. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You're just gonna go a little bit darker than your sky. Okay, just a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm coming into my indigo and I'm just gonna go, we're doing that. We've done this before. I get my classes mixed up, but we have done this. We've done a tree line before. I'm sure that we have.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so
Not successfully, but we have done. You're trying.
we have all successfully done a tree line. Oh, there was some negativity and thing. What's going on? Okay, I did find that that an easier way to do this, if you can move fast enough, is to simply go along your, like it's so much better, to go along your grass and your skyline like this, and just, I'm doing it really dark like this, right? Get your brush wet and then come back in, and we're not trying to make pine trees now, we're trying to make like deciduous trees, so I'm just doing different roundish, different sizes, and just coming along and bringing that black up into this tree line shape. But if you can't move fast enough, you cannot do that fast enough, all right? Because if you don't do it fast enough, you're gonna end up with that black line that I told you about, all right? Wait a minute, I just had to fix that a little bit. So if you can't do that fast enough, then do it like this. Just come in with a lighter color and just paint your tree line like this. And all you want to do is you want to have a variety of shapes, a variety of heights, some taller, some shorter. You just want a little bit of a darker background that will really help offset those violet flowers. Okay, just going all the way across. Pardon me? This is indigo. It's the black with the Prussian blue. Okay. Okay, like that. So you have your options of how you're going to do that.
When we're going high, how high can we go?
Thank you for asking that. Generally speaking, when I'm in the sky area and I'm doing a tree line, I do only a third of the way up. I almost always work by the rule of thirds, okay? So I came about a third of the way down from my skyline and I went about a third of the way up from my tree line. How's everybody tree line? Are we unplugged?
I don't know where we're unplugged at though.
I wonder if we blew a fuse. Wait. It's like your signal.
Yes, I know. I'm
Okay.
trying to get us back on.
Karen, that was an unhappy face. Your purple flower will,
Okay.
yeah, it will pop. But she didn't blow, I thought she blew a fuse, but she didn't. It says the battery is very low.
No, but
Oh,
I don't know where the problem is. We are plugged in.
Saying the laptop is low.
Yeah,
You think we could have gone with fuse because of the-
I think if I turn this off, you set it.
well, I'm back on.
Oh, all right, you're back. But we're still low, right?
We are. I will work on that though.
are we back? Is everybody still out there? Yes. Alpine said yes. Star Valley said yes. Are you guys still out there? Thane is good. Floyd and Carrie are good. Hi, Floyd. Hi, Carrie. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, we're gonna let poor Allison figure out what's wrong with our battery power. All right. Okay, so we've gotten this far. We want to put some grasses in. Now, all the other times that we've been doing grasses, we've been doing a heck of a lot of grasses. And I feel like this time we want to kind of lighten up on the grasses to let those purple flowers really shine, right? So what I want you to do, in this case is we're gonna start, really light with, all, earth colored grasses, right? We'll throw a little bit of green in there. But we want them to be, we're gonna start out with, just using your, yellow ochre. Rescue has arrived. Okay, so I'm just using yellow ochre. And you guys, we have all done this quite a bit. So you want your grasses, don't let your grasses go too far up, about 2/3 of the way up this page. And just once again, do some beautiful yellow ochre fronds right on top of your foreground like this. Okay? Remember to have enough water in your brush with the paint. I just went into my gamboge, because if you don't, you're going to be dry brushing in that end. So you want to make sure you have enough. All right. So I did like a row of yellow ochre, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to add just a little bit of, got gamboge in there. I'm going to come in and add just a wee bit, just a tiny, tiny touch of burnt sienna. Okay. Pardon me? Burnt sienna. It's with your, okay. And then I'm gonna come in and do right on top, and where it's wet and wet, it's gonna kind of meld into that, and just do another row. Burnt umber with, no, burnt sienna.
Okay, so I'm just saying, we have to,
Burnt sienna.
we haven't had in our palette.
Oh, you should have put it in your browns right here with your burnt umber and burnt sienna.
Hey, you wanna repeat those colors so you said yellow?
Beg to differ.
Yellow, ochre.
Yellow ochre and burnt sienna. No, no burnt umber. Burnt umber is ugly. No burnt umber, okay? Okay, so I've got yellow ochre and burnt sienna in here. And now I'm going to come in with just a little bit of green, you guys, just a little bit. You can, I don't care what color green you use out of here. I'm kind of mixing them all three together. And just a few, just to get a little bit of green in there for now. Okay. And at this point, I want everybody to dry it, okay? To dry all your grasses, and then we're gonna take our mask off and we're gonna start painting our flowers, which I'm so excited about. So hurry, hurry.
Green, whatever, any.
Are we back to our happy faces yet?
No.
Okay, okay, just say.
Hey, I got some awesome grass.
Let me see. You do have awesome grass. We have someone here who has some awesome grass.
I'm sure you guys do too, but. I'm doing pretty good about myself.
That's what it's all about. I actually just use your sap green and just add just a little bit of your sap green. Okay, so I did yellow ochre, then I came in with my burnt sienna and yellow ochre mixed, and then I added a little bit of green, and just use your sap green. The truth be told, I don't like any of the greens in this set. Yeah, see, yeah, you can always make your own with, you know, ultramarine and yellow. Prussian blue and yellow. Black and yellow. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, we're back to happy faces. Oh, thank goodness. This is one of those situations where, you know, hard to concentrate.
This is another place we can use this keys.
Just to scrape it up. Yeah, the palette knife works better, but yeah, you can use this too. I don't think I did. I think I did that in here in this one. Victoria was asking about using your palette knife or the bottom of your brush to get some of these in it. Yes, you can do that. The way it works best is if you have darker colors on top of lighter colors, then when you scrape up, you're scraping your darker away to get the lighter underneath. But if you try and do it with the light, it may not show up as well. Light through light. My palette knife is like over there. And yeah, Victoria, it has to be the sharp edge. Thank you. Everybody say thank you, Kelsey. She's now been immortalized on YouTube.
Yes, she is. That's all right. She's doing pretty well. Thank you.
Me too. Okay. I would like to just get through one of these classes without having paint all over me. I was showing off my new shirt yesterday, and she said, and there's the yellow paint. And it was all, which came out. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Thane is drying theirs now to get their mask off. So once you get this far, then it's time to take your mask off. Everybody remember how to do that? Rub, rub, rub. If you have any wet paint on your mask, it will smear it. So you might want to take your paper towel and just go over your mask lightly like this to make sure any wet paint that is still wet on top of your mask, that you are picking it up before you start to lift your mask. By the way, there is a tool that they make for removing masks. It's called a gum remover. So everybody do that. Okay. All right. Everybody here in Thane is taking their mask off. Lori, I like that painting of the blue flowers. I like how you did your red flowers there.
Well, I wasn't sure how you did them, because I wasn't here for that.
Well, you did a nice job.
Well, thank you.
Don't mess it up on the back. Hold it up again for me to see. Yeah, that's lovely. I love your trees in the background. And you got some nice clouds. Yeah. Yeah, a good placement of that red on the horizon line. Did you do that at camp? Were you camping last week?
Then I was
Okay.
going to class tomorrow. I'm gonna go practice.
Good, good, good. All right, once everybody gets the mask off, we still have a few flowers going. You're gonna need, once again, your rose and your Prussian blue for our violet.
Well, I wish I could just take this picture. In fact, this one, oh. Yeah. Well, that was accidental.
I know, much precious one, so much.
I'm gonna say number 4, okay? Okay, so again, over here, I have. Okay, so again, we want to keep this purple pretty light, okay? So I'm gonna start with my rose color, and you wanna work it going back and forth with your blue and your Prussian blue and your rose color when you're putting it in. So I suggest that you do one flower at a time, okay? And come in, do not get too dark with either of these colors. These are super, super tenacious colors. I mean, they just get really dark, especially with that Prussian blue. If you use too much of that Prussian blue, it's just not going to be a pretty purple. Watch, everybody will prove me wrong. All right, so I'm coming down. You can start at the top, wherever you want. Just come down and paint. I need to lift this up a little bit. So I'm coming down and I'm painting, but you can see that I'm leaving. Back on, wiping on my jeans again. Okay, I'm leaving white areas, all right? I'm gonna come down a little bit of the ways, and then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna just drop in a little bit of violet while it's all still wet. Okay. Then I'm gonna go back to rose. Thank you. And I'm gonna come down and again, remember, leave the white areas, try and make that rose color pretty light. You can see I'm leaving the white, coming down, and while it's still wet, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna just drop a little bit of the blue in there and let it mix. If the blue isn't moving and it's sticking and it's just staying there, just go in with your brush and shmoo it around a little bit to get it nicely mixed in there. It doesn't have to be a perfect mix. You want a little bit of that variety. So like right here, it's a little bit more pink. Over here, it's a little bit more purple. And over here, I painted blue on top of yellow, so I got an ugly color. Okay, and then you want to keep the flower flowing, okay? So I'm doing a little bit of red and then dropping in a little bit of blue. We're mixing our violet on the page is what we're doing. As always, if you get too dark, you can drop pure water in there, which is what I just did here. That's another way to mix those two colors in nicely. The other way to do this would, of course, be to do it in water first. And then you get, and you've been guaranteed of getting a light enough rose, dropping rose in for it. And you can experiment. You can try dropping in your blue first and then adding your rose to it. Just remember, do not go too dark with that blue. Not too worried if you go too dark with your rose, but if you go too dark with that blue, I'm going to hear a lot of unhappiness out there. This Prussian blue is a very staining color, and it's a very dark color. Very cool blue. It's a great snow blue. I'm sorry I said the word snow. We don't want to encourage it yet. The perfect fall to me ends on December 24th with snowfall. Okay, so I'm just dropping in. How's everybody doing? Is everybody getting nice purples? Purples, okay. Again, leaving some white. Just paint all your flowers in. Like I said, experiment with it. do your water first. Add your blue in and then drop your rose in and see what the difference is. This is the beauty of watercolor versus oil paint or acrylic, is that movement, how the colors can blend so beautifully on the paper. And it's much better than just using a solid color. You get that intermixing. Okay. I'm gonna go run around and look at people's paintings. I'm sitting here acting like I have to finish my own painting.
Now it's left. They don't want white. Okay. Oh, that said, this is a beautiful color. That's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah, way too dark, okay? So just finish that one up and then the other ones make it a little bit lighter. Okay. Perfect.
Just the rose and the blue.
Okay, just try to make it a little bit lighter. So just more water in your violet. Okay. Are you using straight up violet?
You know, I didn't like the Prussian blue.
Yeah, that's because you were used to way too dark. So where's your rose? Is this rose? Right? Yeah. Rose. Okay, so rose. So, rose like that. There's your Prussian blue. So, see how much lighter that is, see how much this is. So you just were using Prussian blue way too much. This is fine. Okay. Obviously.
Well, I don't.
It's probably these ones. I love flowers. That's why I love the flowers, because I'm having trouble with the top side too. So. See, that's why. Did you ever speak to me? So you paint, but not too much. So you think it's water. Okay. The key to watercolor is the water. When you paint thick like this, you're not letting the bite of your paper. Even if for you it might be better just to come down with pure water, okay, right, like that, and then add your color in. And then drop the color in. See how beautifully it moves around. Don't overdo.
That's what I was like, too much.
Yeah.
Judy, do you want them to do all 7 flowers?
Yes, there's to do all the flowers. With, yeah, just. Okay, try and take it easy with your Prussian blue. Is that Prussian blue?
No, that's got indigo.
There's
blue here,
It's
and
blue.
there's the blue there.
That's ultramarine.
Yeah.
So this is the Prussian blue. See, Prussian blue, you want it to be as light as the other blue is. It's not as dark as you want Prussian.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, that Prussian blue is a really dark color, so if you use too much of it, it will get too dark. Okay. So some of you are already adding a darker color. So you're, a lot of you out there have already done many different values within this one flower. What I wanted you to do, looking to see if they're dry yet, I'll demonstrate on this one, is I wanted you to paint a flower like this, and then I wanted you to come in with a little bit of a darker violet. Yeah, I'm mixing my darker violet over here. Okay. And then what I was saying was that you come in and you drop a little bit of darkness right next to your white areas, like this. Okay. And then I shmew it. Shmewing it. Shmewing it. And I keep the white. What I'm doing is I'm popping the white out by putting a little bit of darkness next to it. You can see like up here how much that pops that out. It makes it more like a flower shape, right? It gives it like ridges. Okay. So some of you are already painting, you're painting like, some of you out there have like 5 different values within your flower, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I was going for was, which is how you usually work in watercolors, is you do your large areas first and then you come in with your detail. So what I wanted everybody to do was to do a generalized flower like this. And then the next step would be to come in and add that final value right next to your white areas. Yeah, after you've dried it. And mine's dried enough that I'm able to work with it. And then just shmoo it out a little bit like this.
And what color are you adding to the white?
I'm adding, I'm not adding anything to the white. I'm painting next to the white with a violet that's made out of Prussian blue and the rose colored. Again, not too dark. I mean, I still didn't go that dark. Okay. And so in watercolors, what you do is you paint your big areas first, get all the big information down, and then you come in with your detail. Okay. So the last part of it would be this part of it and the flower coming in with the detail in the darker areas. I'm not saying that the people who have like 5, 6 values in their flower did anything wrong. They just did it all at once and it got quite dark. Okay. And what we're looking for here is brightness, colorful. That said, there's a lot of beautiful paintings out there. All right. And if some people are also using their paint much too thickly, and in watercolors, you never use it thick. You always have to have water in there for that flow. If you use it thickly, then you're using it like a tempera paint or an oil, and that's not how watercolors are used. You want that white of the paper to show through for the luminosity. That's what watercolors are all about. And especially when you come to flowers, you want that luminous look to them. Is luminous a word? Luminosity. How's everybody doing? How many flowers do you guys have left out there?
4.
Okay. Okay. Have you guys reached the point where you're finding the painting kind of meditative, or is it still the opposite of meditation? The tenseness. So we have one meditator out there at least.
That's the really cool thing about it, it's a piece of paper.
That's exactly it. It's not precious, you know. And you just throw it away and start another one. Okay. Once we get all the flowers done, which I see I'm the only one that got all the flowers done. So I'll just wait. I want to try and get some. Yeah, you. White, yes. This is an important lesson in watercolor is. Okay. It's, you know, and it has to be pretty random in the beginning when you're first learning, so. The flower comes from it. Because I had more water. Yeah, more water to your paint. Yeah. Because your paint is so like this. Okay. And then coming in the end, it's like a world. Yeah, too much water.
See, I say too much, but nothing beyond water.
So this is the whole secret of watercolor is water paint ratio.
Okay.
If I do this, you see how that is bold and forms the bead. One of the ways for you to test when you cross the threshold of too much painted water is you keep adding paint to that, and when it flattens out, you have too much paint. When it keeps that tension there with the then you know. So it's just a little, and it's a learning curve. This is the struggle that almost everybody has in watercolors is how to get that water paint ratio. Flattens out, yeah, it's too much paint. Yeah. Water is, you know, in some ways, because you did wash first, it's kind of you have to switch your mentality. Wash was thick, so if you were working in wash, you're doing the right thing, but in watercolor, you try to get more rock. And I think actually, if you're unhappy with this, if you just added.
Yeah, she keeps saying, have more water, that's too mushy.
It's really a matter of that action. I'll just keep trying all the time and then get a feel for it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yours is actually beautiful. It's just different. It's just different, yeah. There's nothing wrong with being different. That's me too, me
I
too.
might still have that quote that he brought about everybody's is different. Everybody is. I think that the school kid, you can't do it like everybody else. You have your own.
Yeah.
That was great.
Okay, so. See, okay, Victoria's got a few more. We want to add a little bit more to this painting to make it pop out a little bit more. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I still haven't gone in with my darker violets But if I did go in with them, it would be like this. Right next to the white areas. And this is just my own technique. Like if I'm doing trees, this is how I do the trees. I always pop in a darker green or whatever the color the trees are right next to the white because it just really pops it out. It really pops out that white, which in trees are sky holes, and it does in the flowers too. Okay, but we're going to want to add a few more darker grasses and also our weed grasses. I lost my painting. Anybody see my painting? Someone stole my painting. Did I leave my painting out there somewhere?
It's right here. I just looked up and I'm like, oh, there it is.
The missing painting. You'd be like a Nancy Drew. Does anybody read Nancy Drew anymore? Okay. You would know the answer to that. Do people still read Nancy Drew? And
Yes.
okay, all right, good. Good job. All right, we want to put some of these weeds in here, right? Just for a little bit of a balance. Everybody see that?
Oh,
The little dot weeds, right? The ones that have gone to seed. So with that, for that color, I'm doing the burnt sienna again and mixing it with, you don't really have to mix it, but I am going to put a little burnt umber in it just to make it darker. And then I just do a few dots like that, okay? Like burnt umber and burnt sienna together, okay? I want the color of the burnt sienna, but I want you to darken it a little bit with burnt umber. And I'm making cones, like it's the cone flower, but the flower fell off, then all that's left is the cone. Ooh, I'm so glad I came up with a descriptive for that. Does that work? Painting the cones, okay? Just adding a few, just get a little bit more. And then using that same combination of the burnt sienna with a little bit of umber, put the stalks on those. Not that thick. I went right through water there, sorry. Using a number 4 brush, try and get some stalks in there as thin as possible. Those are a little bit too dark. Look at that. Let's go in and erase it with your paper towel. Okay, so stalk up there. And then add a few more of these, just a few darker colors in there. Now, obviously, my painting does not look nearly as good as everybody's out there because I haven't finished it. Everybody out there did really beautiful flowers, but just coming in with a few more dark, you can go over your flowers if you want. That's not a big deal, but we did some of the grasses before, and now I'm just adding a few darker ones on either side of my flowers just to pop it out a little bit more. See what a difference that made? Getting some of that darker area in there. Some of you have pretty dark flowers going on, so it may not be as necessary as it was for this. I think everybody's going to finish on time, but we're not going to have time, I don't think, to spotlight anybody. So I may go grab some here and there when they aren't finished.
What color should the stems of the coneflowers be?
They should be burnt sienna and a little bit of burnt umber to darken it a little bit. And we only have like 4 minutes left, so we're just gonna leave these paintings on. If anybody hasn't finished them, we'll finish them up next week before we move on to our next painting. Sienna. Did you type that? S, yes. See, well, how would you know? Sienna, Sienna. AKA baby poop brown. I painted my whole kitchen that color once. It was a disaster. Baby poop brown. I didn't think that, I thought I'm gonna get it painted. Maybe it's just me. And Bob came in and said, why did you paint the wall baby poop brown? That was the end of that color. For someone who's an artist, I am very bad at wall colors. I see one person who might let me show. There's one right there. See how she's doing those beautiful flowers? I did forget that you are going to want to add a stem onto your flowers too. I forgot that part. All right. So, and I do put a little bit of a green stem on. You can see where I grayed down my green to put the stems on a little bit. So you can add little leaves too at the bottom. I just forgot that. But everybody pretty much did a really good job on this. Anybody else? Here's another one. It says beautiful flowers that she did. She got a lot of detail in there. So keep your paintings on your block. When we come in next week, we'll finish these paintings up and then we'll move on to our next painting, okay? And thank you very much for persevering through one more class.